Hello, how are you? My name is Jeff and I am a lighting artist. I work for the video games industry. I think about lighting literally all the time. And when I first saw the GTA6 second trailer, I was amazed by it. It has some great shots and today we're gonna analyze it. The hair on Jason is a little bit weird. This is all very well planned out. I don't think Unreal Engine can do this. This light doesn't cast shadows. Notice how realistic this character looks. Okay, beautiful start. What's the thing about lightning? Us humans have eyes. Our eyes perceive light, which is our main sensory adaptations we have to live in this world. So controlling the light and controlling how lighting looks and how we communicate things with light is essential for video games and for art in itself, especially 3D art. So in this case, we start with a very chill, nice mood of what is going to be an action-packed trailer. So we have this morning light, we have the long shadows, we have contrast, we can see here very clearly the direction of the shadows, how the shadows are doing this, and just this is a very nice angle. We can see mostly shade, but it's also letting us see the different patches of light, which is honestly beautiful. This is a great pick for an opening shot. I noticed that there's a little person over here, which is kind of funny. We have wildlife going on, we have people, we have boats. It's honestly beautiful. Okay. Second shot. Amazing. I noticed something here. The light is going over in this direction. Look at this front of these buildings. And on the second shot, they flip the light. Now you notice a change? I'm gonna do a little bit of drawing here. Now the lightning in this direction. In the previous shot, it was in this direction. Why they did that? Because if they stayed with number 2 instead of number 1, this side of this building will be in complete shadow, which is honestly not aesthetic. Instead of that, they picked this lightning scenario and they got this beautiful tree shade, which is beautifully made. And it's also speaking about the rendering capabilities of this engine. Also, it gives us a very nice contrast with the subject, which is over here. Notice how we even have the leaves pointing out to the subject in this direction, which is hand placed. Also, look at this tip. This line over here also points us to the subject over here. This line over here also points us to the subject. This contrasty line over here also points us to the subject, which is beautiful. We have very well placed, well planned out shot over here. We have very nice tiny little details like these birds over here. We have an iguana over here, and we have this very beautiful light and shadow play over here. Now we see this part on shadow, we have this part on light, and we do a jumping light shadow, light shadow, light shadow, light shadow, and it's very contrasty with the background, which is a beautiful white with volumetric lights and everything. So again, beautiful shot, and we have a lot to go through. So okay, let's continue. I'm loving this. I hope you too.
What are you doing up there?
Okay, we see another rotation of the light, I think. In this case, it's the first time we see a character in this trailer. So what are we seeing? We're seeing a backlit shot, very Hollywood style. They picked, again, a morning light but they are doing a nice soft rim right along the subject here. Why they're doing this? Because they're generating contrast. Contrast is the name of the game when creating lighting. We want contrast, and when we don't want contrast is also to create contrast later. So in this case, the background is in complete light. Here, let me show you. Now we're seeing in black and white. So notice how the background is lit, is very lit, and the character is in shadow. You can see the whole silhouette. They're doing this trick to establish the focal point. So in this case, the character is over here. The previous focal point, it was very wide, but it was something like this. So they're telling us, hey, look at this point. This is the character we're talking about. They're creating contrast within the background and the subject, and they're using just atmospheric light to illuminate the front of the subject, which is honestly amazing. It's a beautiful use of ambient lighting, and we are seeing some master examples of it. Here we are seeing something very good, very well done, which is starting to speak about the powers of this engine, and it is the reflections on his skin. Okay, this is again caused by the placement of the sun, which is creating these reflections that we can see. Remember that reflections are also lightning. Us as a lighting artist create reflections, and reflections are a produce of lightning. So well-planned reflections are essentially our job as a lighting artists. So yeah, very good.
Seriously, dude, you got...
Okay, we have a continuation shot. Probably the light is a little bit tilted again. So in this case, we have this side of this truck again with the same trick. The character is backlit, so we have a nice, beautiful, soft rim lighting over here, and the rest of his silhouette is again completely in shadow. This is causing a nice contrast, very subtle but thoughtful, and I can tell you that this is planned, like meticulously planned. Let's continue.
You got some time on your hands. I got some properties with paying tenants.
That's why you came.
So in this case, they're presenting us the first male protagonist of the game. Well, not the first, the only male protagonist. And here we're seeing like some really nice details. They're using the same trick about the reflections. What they're communicating us, basically the engine has a sweat simulation, and it's very well done. Notice over here, I'm gonna zoom out over here, but notice we have a little sweat line in his arm. Notice the muscles that we have going on here, and probably they are simulated. We're seeing some incredible musculature. Look at this pectoral. We have again nice shadows, long shadows, which creates a lot of contrast between light and shadow. Shadows in general create depth. They give us information about how far things are. And here I tell you guys that maybe they did some trick, because notice in his back we can see again on the sweat lines. Okay, you can see the sweat lines very well defined. We can see his back muscles, which also create shadow in itself. Probably we have this main source light, which is our sun over here. I'm gonna draw it. We have our sun, very beautifully drawn, and here probably we have a reflector light that is creating us these reflections over here and these reflections over here. So maybe they placed some lights around the subject to enforce this lightning. Notice this long reflection over here, which is again creating and giving us extra details about volume, you know, the volumetrics and the sculpture of this character. Okay, next shot.
Love you, Jason.
So first the camera is doing this, and then it's pointing out naturally to the door, and we're leaning towards the door following the character, which is very smooth. We can see the reflection of the character, look at the eye, and we can see the silhouette of the character getting closer to the glass. You know, realism, it's a accumulation of things. We have reflections, good lighting, good shadows, ambient occlusion, good character modeling and texturing, and all of these things creates realism. But they have to be very precise and in very well amount between each other. And this is a great example of how we can achieve realism. This engine, in these couple of shots we're seeing, it's awesome, I can tell you guys. Unreal Engine 5, it's hard, you know, it's hard to get to these results. And even if we can get it, to make it playable, oof, man, it's hard. So this is great technology going on here. This is interesting because notice how the exposure compensates very softly. Our eyes have in between 20 and 50 stops of exposure, and they do it automatically. If you are in super sunny day and then your eyes are exposed to a very bright source, and then you get into a very dark source, you are gonna notice it. Your eyes are gonna take a little bit adapt, but in general we don't notice exposure changes. In this case we are not noticing, and this is an engine thing, and this is very difficult because you have to have a very good light bouncing in the shadows to create these exposure changes without looking too soft on the shadows. So look at here, it looks dark, which is the point. We don't have light going on in the inside of this house. One thing is that through the door we're seeing the city at the end, and this is with composition. They're telling us the character is going to over there. This is a composition thing, and this is made on purpose, and I love to see these kind of details. Very nice shot over here. It's a very well framed. One thing over here that IGN pointed out is basically a lot of reflections going on here. We have reflections over here in the window, we have a reflection on the clock, we have on the windscreen, and a reflection of the sun that is getting through this part of the vehicle and bouncing in here. So we have light bouncing, probably 2 or 3 bounces or 5, it depends. Mostly it gets up to 5 until it isn't noticeable. And we are seeing also here, maybe that was overlooked in the trailer, very nice shader for the sunglasses. So this is Miami, people wear sunglasses, and for Rockstar it was very important to have a very powerful shader for sunglasses, which is what we are seeing over here. We are gonna see a lot of different sunglasses in this trailer. Be on the lookout for that. Okay. Love it. It's a pink car. We kind of see a different painting treatment, and we can see some paws, some dog paws, which is, I think, speaking about car customization. Most likely will be very extensive. This is the first interior shot we're seeing. I can tell you it is complex, so I don't know technically how they are doing it to handle this much lighting. We have over here, we have some light that is creating this sort of purple lighting in this direction. Here we have a top light that is illuminating these t-shirts over here. Then we have another light over here that is creating this orange aura around here. We have the exit sign, which is another light. We have most likely other light here, which probably is a natural light source because we see some inside shadows over here, which speaks that we are having like a window in this direction, casting light through the shop. Beautiful. And also, so this pink light is very well placed to create an intimidating shadow on the eyes of the character. It's very well placed. So it's intentional. So far, incredible. What are you guys thinking? Leave a like. Driving shot again. This is interesting. We're seeing a lot of details over here. We have the wildlife. Also, look at this. This is a reflection over here. This is a reflection of the interior of the car, which is speaking about how complex this ray-traced global illumination can get. Also, another detail, this car has two of these things here, which I don't know if you know it, but is mimicking the bull's ball sacks. So this is funny. Obviously makes sense with the guys that are going on the back of this car, which probably is speaking that us as a players can hop into the back of the trunk of these cars. We also notice here the reflection of this car going on here. This reflection is basically from the building on the other side. Is doing it alright, but here we are seeing that it's not super high resolution. Maybe distant far objects doesn't reflect very high definition reflections on complex surfaces. So cool, yeah, not complaining about it. Okay, now they are telling us that time is passing. Why is that? We're seeing an evening lightning, probably golden hour, and we are seeing like something very unique that I haven't seen in any GTA, which is atmospheric lightning, in the sense that in the atmosphere we have hazy clouds or something that is creating different lightning effects. In this case, we're seeing the sun very clearly that is coming out from here and it's over in this direction, creating a very nice lightning edge here in this character, here in these arms, in this rod over here, and obviously on these girls, which also we can see the hair shader and how the light is refracting over the hair. Dudes over here on the back, they're very well contained within the composition. Why is that? Because the only character that has the rim lightning is Jason. The other ones are in complete shadow, which if I turn you guys the black and white, we can see that they're not as contrast as Jason. Jason has the contrast, and the dudes, they're very well hidden within the buildings and the other stuff we have in the back. Okay. Okay, time is passing. Another interior shot. Here we are seeing a very believable interior lighting. In this case, it's like a grocery shop. We're seeing the nice detail on these beers. The American flag, obviously. The fashion with the skirt, which is beautiful, and the shorts and everything. So we're seeing like complex set pieces of fashion, which is essential. You know, it's a realism thing. Realism is also about fashion, what people wear, their complexion, everything. So it's great attention to detail here. Oh, I don't know if you noticed, but she has a tattoo. Yeah, on her leg. Different watch also. It's like a smartwatch. Probably in the game you're gonna be able to buy different kinds of watches. Maybe the smartwatch has a gameplay added aspect. You know, you can do maybe something with your smartwatch. I don't know, that will be cool. And one of my favorite parts of this shot is this homeless man. Notice how insanely realistic this homeless man looks. It's incredible. When I first saw this, I was in awe, you know? The posing, the animation, the dirtiness on his skin, it's beautiful. Like, it's hard. A person had to sit and speak about how to make a believable homeless man, and the result is stunning. Okay, cool. This is one of my favorite shots of this trailer. This one over here. The lighting on this is insane. We're gonna go step by step. First of all, it's the first time that we are not seeing direct sunlight. Here the sun, as you can see in these buildings on the back, is very low. Only the tallest of buildings can get the last rays of sun of the day. But that creates an atmosphere of evening, which is narrative driven. Why is that? Because we're starting to get a little bit more shadow. So the gang people are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. It's basically Rockstar saying to us, we're getting to the criminal part of the game. And on the trailer, notice how this light, this police car light, is bouncing very accurately over this wall and creating shadows in the process. And notice also the police car lights and these braking lights over here that are creating this nice reflection over here. So this is insane, guys. I'm gonna let it play. Yeah, look at the shadows. Look at the police car light. Look at the red. Only the tallest buildings can get the last rays of sun. Okay, now we have one of the tallest buildings in this area, the police watchtower of the prison. In this case, the colors, we have a blue-orange palette, which is harmonic, very beautiful.
I'm here for Lucia Caminos.
Okay, this is shot, it's also one of my favorites. Okay, in this case, we have Jason being illuminated from the back. Notice how in this driving shot, by those buildings over here, we have the sunlight sort of going in this direction. So we have a similar lightning direction. In this case, we have the light going in this direction. Here we had light in this direction in the previous shot. So they're similar. The 180-degree law, which is mostly used for cameras, but also can be used for lighting. One other thing we have over here is the lightning on this guardsman. Notice how the background is mostly in shade, but this man's face is being illuminated and it pops out from the composition, and it's coming out from this monitor over here that is generating enough light to illuminate this guy. We also can see that this keyboard, because it's closer to the light source, it's a little bit more bright than this man's face. This is inverse square law in action.
Supposed to be getting out.
What's your name?
Jake.
Okay, notice how when he get the hand closer to the monitor, which is over here, it got brighter. That's because of the inverse square law. Basically means that if something is closer to the light source, it's gonna get brighter, and as we get far from it, it's gonna get essentially dimmer. It's very in a nutshell, but that's one of the things with inverse square law.
Listen to Vol. I think you heard before.
Very well defined because of this monitor's light, which is forced. It's not like completely accurate. Maybe an artist put a light around here to illuminate his face better, but it's well planted in the sense that it doesn't matter if the light is over here or over here. What it does matter is that we have the monitor that is placing the justification of, okay, the light is coming generally from this monitor.
You might have.
Again, similar lighting. It's very interesting because in this shot, she's coming from the shadow through the light, and she's passing through these shadows of the prison, which is speaking about narrative-driven lighting design. It means that she's been to prison and now she's free. That's the whole metaphor, which is beautiful. This is very thoughtful. She's in the shadow and she steps into the light. She looks down and she looks up again, completely into the light. And this is the first time we see Lucia in this trailer. Here we also have an interesting lighting detail, which is a beautiful rim lighting over here And this is all planned out. This is all planned out, guys, I can tell you. Lighting artist put a light over there to create that soft rim light. Is thoughtful.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay, transition. Over in this shot, we see a similar lighting scenario than before. This is to create a smooth transition. A sunlight, black screen, sunlight again. So the transition is a lot smoother. Okay, this is definitely one of my favorites. And here we are seeing like a lot of light art going on. So we have this light source over here, which is red, probably because they triggered an alarm. Again, narrative driven lighting design. And it's creating a soft rim light on her side over here. But my favorite light in this shot is this one over here. We have a light that is basically pointing in this direction, and it's creating an incredible reflection over in this side of the gun, which is popping out a lot of contrast. This shot is speaking about guns. You can use guns. It's about violence also. And not only that, we're seeing a red-blue shot. In this case, 90% red, 10% blue. Here on these reflections over the monitor screens, also on the face mask. Very simple, but that's the point. In lighting, you don't always go for complex. Simple is simpler to understand also. Here we're seeing the sunlight again. This sunlight is to create rim light over these characters on the back. Again, like very Hollywood style, you know, the back rim light, which is used in a lot of Hollywood movies, especially in the past century. Cool. Okay, you notice that we're seeing a mostly red-blue shot over here. Here, like, it's a mixture with sunlight, but over on the next shot is mostly red. And in the next one is blue. So this is all very well planned out. Again, I can tell you guys, these dudes that worked on this trailer, they've been planning this for months. Get this perfect, to get these transitions as smooth as possible. Even though if it lasts 2 minutes and 46 seconds, the amount of design and thinking that went through these shots and this lightning, it's insane. This is pure artistry going on here. Rockstar is one of those only companies willing to put that much effort into lighting, which obviously has a pace, and in this case is a very good output. Very sensual shot, which speaks about the sensuality of the aspect of this game, which is very cool. Basically, sunlight is gonna be present in a lot of this game, and they're using it a lot. The hair on Jason is a little bit weird, same as Lucia, but their reflections on their skin are quite good. Okay, this shot is very beautiful. The colors on this are insane. I love it. We have a soft gradient on this direction casted by the sun and the clouds, and we have a light over here on this light post, which is creating this very beautiful green patch of light. This is very similar to one of the lighting setups that I did for one of my games. I'm very proud of, you know, like they're doing something that I also did, so that's great. We also have a nice silhouette plate over here. These guys are in perfect symmetry. It's very contrasty, this shot. I can put you in black and white. But yeah, the contrast is amazing. The boats in the horizon are also very well defined. This is all speaking about these two guys and all the world that they have at their disposal. Very narrative driven lighting design. Beautiful. Another of my favorite shots of this trailer. We are seeing Brian's boatworks and marina. My guess is that this is going to be a key location in the game. Brian's which probably is a character in the game, is gonna be helping out smuggle things up. Also very nice the weathering on the text, you know, the metallic and the oxidation. If I put this in black and white, which I'm gonna do, we're seeing a lot of shadows, which is very narrative driven lighting design. Why is that? Shadows speak about what we cannot see at plain sight, what can be hidden. Many of the robberies, many of the assaults, many of the bad things happen within the shadow, and that has a psychology into it. And these guys over at Rockstar, they know it and they use it, and they communicated us that we are going to do a lot of things in the shadows. We're going to do a lot of criminal stuff in the nights and in the shadows. Yeah, and the contrast that we have with the background, and also the composition here with these lines over here that are framing perfectly the characters inside this square are, you know, masterful. That's one of the words that I will say, masterful. This is a brief shot, but I love it. Look, notice like how realistic this character looks. The skin, you know, the pores of his skin, the beautiful rim light on the top of his head. His front is mostly on shadow. The front of his face is barely lit, which is perfectly placed. And Jason, which is in the back, is sort of in the same situation. Up until now, we are not seeing full night yet. This is still daylight. This is an insane detail that she's wearing one of these vests, and this is getting illuminated by this car's light. You know, this is a car, it has its lights turned on because it's on the evening, and it's reflecting on this vest, which has a reflective material. And this is a thing that happens every day in our world. And the fact that these guys are simulating this is insane. Also, here, look at this beautiful rim light over here that is popping out the policeman, or in this case the police girl, over the background, and it's like pulling out the two most important characters, and we have an extra going on here. But so this is one of the most complex shots in this trailer in terms of lighting. This is a neon light over here, which is casting this green. We have this light over here, and we have another over here that we are not seeing. Not only is important because it's not a spotlight that it's casting like down, but also this light is refracting on this material and it's bouncing upwards, which is something that is most overlooked in the lighting industry, which is illuminating the ceiling. Sometimes because of budget, because of performance or whatever, people don't illuminate the ceiling, and that's something that breaks realism. We also have this light over here, we have the sun leaking on it here, we have this strip light over here, and all of this is supporting the overall lighting scenario, which is very complex. I would wish to have this engine at my disposal to do a lot of testing. Rockstar, if you wanna hire me as a lighting artist, call me. So yeah, let's continue.
The only thing that matters is who you know and what you got.
Okay, in this case, the Lucia's butt shot. This is really interesting because of this material. It's very complex. This is a very complex material. Basically, each flake is reflecting a little bit of the light, and simulating this and making it accurate. You can fake it, but this is not faked. I don't know how they do this. A great way to present it though. The facial animation, how beautiful Lucia looks, the eyes, makeup, and the hand posing animation. This is one of my favorite animations on this trailer.
Gonna do this? We're doing it right.
This is the first time we're seeing night, which is quite late on the short film. Yes, I'm calling it a short film because it is. It's also a trailer, but it's essentially a short film. Okay, we're seeing a lot of artificial light. In this case, one of my favorite shots. We're seeing this very big neon sign over here that is casting a lot of blue on this room, which is in contrast with this orange room, we're seeing a lot of good use of color. You know, blue-orange. It's a very nice color palette to have. And probably we're seeing a lot of the relationship between these characters. This one and this one as the main ones. And this is probably the secondary one. And this is a support character. Okay. This shot over here, almost photographic. The expression on their eyes, the character modeling, how different they look. This is all handmade, guys. This one being illuminated by two lights, one over here and probably one over here. Notice the sunglasses shader going in action. Here we're seeing, in this shot, we're seeing a lot of texture shadowing. Probably this is a normal map. This is nice. Getting this extra detail in this shot. Beautiful. In this one over here, I like it a lot. The police lighting we have over here, it looks very tactical, very professional. This reflection, subtle reflection over here, and notice how cool looks this tattoo. Also, the lens flares. In this case, we have a very distinctive lens flare, which I haven't seen before. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of the James Webb Space Telescope lens flare. We're seeing this lens flare along this trailer. Police lighting in this one. We have a classical police lighting with the standard rim light that we are seeing until this point. Everything is using a rim light, which is basically the name of the game. A well-used rim light, it's essential for creating a pop in our compositions. And if I put this in black and white, it's sort of like a film noir situation. Okay, here, the muzzle flash. Notice how bright it's looking. The fingers, which are closer to the lightning source, which is this muzzle flash. Even here we're seeing the little point light that they put on this. But yeah, the fingers are brighter. The arm is a little bit dim. The face mostly dim. And this is because of the inverse square law. Things that are closer to the lightning source will be brighter, and things that are far from the lightning source are gonna be a little bit dimmer. They will not have a lot of decay, so it will be a more constant the fall off. We're having night day film editing here.
We got this.
We got it.
This shot, one of my favorite on this trailer, which I have a lot, but this shot over here is atmospherical in the sense that it is gray, which I love to see because up until this point we are seeing a lot of sunlight, so it's nice to see like a shaded type of illumination. We're seeing this red light over here, which I will bet probably this light exists in a real plane. Yeah, it's communicating danger. This light is communicating danger. This is probably fatal for one of those characters. Notice how bright light is over here and how dim this same red light is over here. And notice how far this light is going. This is also speaking about light decay, the attenuation radius of the lights. If the attenuation radius is larger, it's gonna consume more computational power. So it's really nice seeing a realistic attenuation radius. Lights can travel very far. This blue scene, which is very similar to the one that we had at the beginning, which was very sensual. It's like a time interpolation thing, which is a very complex editing trick. So again, very professional people doing this job over here. In this shot over here, we can see a lot of body types. We have one body type, 2, 3. This one has the bonus that the dude that is taking this picture is holding this woman's butt, which is funny. Another body type, and the fashion is completely different and unique. Only an artist's eye and an artist's hand can do this. This neon light over here is looking amazing. Neon light is really hard to do, and they're doing it perfectly. This is not faked. This is like actual neon light. This shot with the money falling and the stripper dancing, looking towards the camera. Very cool. this one over here, famous shot of the PS5. One thing that I can tell you, this reflection over here, this was on purpose, guys. Like, an artist came in and put this piece of glass over here just for the sole purpose to have this insane reflection on the trailer, which is a flex. Also, the beer bubbles over here, made obviously on purpose. And we have animal behavior over here.
Nation today, we got more guns than a lot of lambs. Hey.
Other lightning scenario, we have this oceanic. We can see, similar to the muzzle flash, how this, we have like a little explosion and it's filling out with light, all of this, which is interesting because this light doesn't cast shadows. Why I can tell you that? Because look at this over here, look at this over here, this should all cast a shadow, like this bud over here, this is not casting shadow, this wheel over here. So why is that? This is for optimization reasons. Not all the light, especially in a real-time rendering software, cannot be casting shadows because of performance issues. So it makes sense that small flashy lights doesn't need to cast shadows, because in the real game nobody is stopping frame by frame to look at. I'm a nerd about lighting, so I can tell you guys this detail. This shot, I really like it a lot. So we have very cool detail over here. Notice this light over in the eyes of Lucia, which is speaking about the fact that we have lightning bouncing in the rear mirror, and the rear mirror is bouncing back to the Lucia's eyes, which is an insane detail to have, like a mirror as a light source. It's unseen on a 3D software until now. I don't think Unreal Engine can do this, honestly.
Hey, if you got friends, can you hook me? Please.
And then shot again, wide open shot, car going to the horizon, rising buildings, soft gradients, and the end of what it is, an insane GTA6 trailer. I cannot wait to see and play this game. I only have PC, I don't think I will have a PS5 for this game, so I will wait and I will see all the gameplays on the internet. This is a breakthrough in Lightning, in real-time rendered Lightning. Congrats to the Rockstar team, the Lightning team that was in charge of this. Congrats on the leadership team for supporting Lightning and allowing these guys to do their job. So I love it. I love seeing good light, and I've seen thoughtful lightning design and narrative-driven lightning design. This is an 11 out of 10. I hope you learned something on this. This is on YouTube, so leave a like, subscribe if you want. If you're Rockstar and someone at Rockstar seeing this, please comment below if I'm on the right track. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.